So you guys know how much I love Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite, if not my favorite PlayStation game of all time. We finally got to see some new gameplay of Ghost of Yōtei, and don't get me wrong, I was thoroughly impressed with this state of play. Oh, look at that. Look at that. From its gameplay, the open world, the combat, this has Game of the Year written on it. Maybe. And even though I'm pretty much sold on this game and I will be buying it day one, I do have one big concern about this game.
What?
Which we're going to run through at the end of the video. So here are 10 things you need to know about Ghost of Yōtei. And yes, I'm a little bit ill. Sorry. Now this takes place 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima as you play as Atsu, a mercenary in the 17th century Japan. Now the story is quite simplistic. You are seeking revenge against a group of outlaws called the Yōtei Six who destroyed Atsu's village and murdered her family. 16 years later she decides to return and get revenge. And this does sound like a certain other game.
Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand.
Now this is based off the fictional version of Hokkaido, and the people of Ezo believe Atsu is an onryo, a wrathful ghost bent on revenge. And you can instantly see the main difference from Ghost of Tsushima. She is literally a mercenary. She will do everything in her power to get revenge. She doesn't care how she does it. She doesn't care if she dies. She doesn't care if she loses her honor. And with Jin Sakai, it was a lot different. He had that conflict within himself to go against his uncle and his code of being a samurai and learning to become a thief and a mercenary in order to save his people. With Atsu, it's going to be just a lot more simple. Just get the job done. And what begs the question for me is that essentially the goal is for you to kill these 6 targets. What is described from the developers is that this game is giving the players as much freedom as possible, and I assume there is no order to kill these 6 targets. It's going to give the players that much freedom. We can choose how we do it. Now I absolutely love the world of Ghost of Tsushima. If I had to be critical about this game, it was so hard to be critical, but one of the things was the open world. It was quite empty in a way. A few houses, a few bases to take down. There were some NPCs you would meet on the road and maybe some mercenaries that you would meet on the world, but it looks like they have given us a lot more to do in the open world, and it is amazing. The open world looks absolutely incredible. I love that they've kept the art style of the first game. The leaves on the ground, the wind, which was probably Sucker Punch's best thing that they could have done with the first game. I love the way that there was no damn cursor on the map, and with the way you would swipe up on the D-pad and the wind would show you where you need to go, and it made the world so much more immersive. But seeing the beautiful snowy conditions, there is also going to be a clue system in the game where you will come across enemies in the game. Instead of just killing them, you can actually interrogate them, and you can have the choice of which subjects or clues for them to give out. This is really cool, and it just makes exploring so much freaking better. Comparing it to Assassin's Creed Shadows and the typical Ubisoft formula, I think those days are gone, where you've got all of this stuff on the map and all of this UI. I love that they didn't even show hardly any UI on the screen. It's just solely focused on exploring and immersiveness.
If you interrogate an enemy, choosing to ask about the Oni, you could uncover a landscape scarred by fire with more bold, samurai-like enemies to fight and abilities for Atsu to learn.
So if you want a new weapon, you can choose that topic if you want, or you could choose another option to take down more enemies, or if you want to learn a new skill, it will point you in the direction of where you can improve your playstyle. And as shown, this card system will help you keep track of what you found out. There will be bounties that can be found in the game so you can get more money, probably find more secrets and learn new abilities. But also the altars of reflections will be hidden in the world, where it will allow her to unlock new abilities as seen in the gameplay, which we're going to come to. But if you wanted, throughout the world you might meet some NPCs and some merchants, and you can actually buy a traveler's map from a vendor, and it looks like you'll be able to place it in a particular point of the map in case you are exploring a certain area and maybe you want 100% it or fully explore that area. You can have a helping hand towards that. I love the way that they explain that you can essentially choose what you want to do. If you want to keep to the story, you can do that. If you want to go explore an area, you can do that. If you want to try and find more weapons, find more bounties, you can do that. But what else is cool is that you can pull out your spyglass to find out areas in the distance, and then you can use the wind to find your way there. In the open world, they've shown us things that were in the first game, such as bamboo cutting, which was present in Ghost of Tsushima, which I loved. There's going to be some paintings potentially added, some mini games, and of course the hot springs are back. The gameplay in Ghost of Tsushima was absolutely amazing, but it looks like they've outdone themselves, improving it that much further.
What?
Just like Ghost of Tsushima, you can play the whole game in black and white, also known as Kurosawa mode. Black and white with all the effects of a traditional Japanese movie by partnering up with Akira Kurosawa's estate. They have also partnered up with Kishi Miike. He's a director of some popular films for a mode that puts the camera closer during combat with more blood and more blood splatter. I think I'm going to put this on from the start, and that just creates more immersiveness.
Director of 13 Assassins, for a mode that puts the camera closer during combat for a more intense, raw experience along with increased mud and blood splatter.
And what else is going to be a massive improvement from the first game is the sheer amount of weapons in this game. You can see instantly that you can essentially choose how you want to play and what sort of warrior do you want Atsu to be, from katanas, spears, sarigama, adachi, or even dual swords. And it's even described that these weapons are going to be effective against certain enemies. So like the first game, you had different stances, and what I loved about that is that it created more variety and a thought process behind the enemies you were fighting up against. So if you were going against a massive brute, you had to choose a certain stance, and it looks like they have scrapped that, which is not a bad thing because of replacing it with the sheer variety in weapons. They have their own upgrades, and you will be required to switch weapons during combat because enemies may switch their weapons as well. And if you're not careful, you can even lose your weapon during combat and vice versa.
Every motion counts. It's about lethal precision.
Like the first game, you can choose how you want to infiltrate certain camps. You can go in quietly, or you could just go in guns blazing. We've got bow and arrows. I loved them in the first game. I just can't wait to hear Dosha! Dosha! But not only that, you have guns as well, smoke bombs and all sorts of other weapons. I bet Ubisoft are thinking right now, damn it, no one's going to be buying our game now. Not only that, I loved the jewels in the first game before you met some mercenaries in the open world. But now you'll have your trusty companion, your wolf, and they will get involved too. Like I mentioned before, you will find altars of reflection, and these will allow you to unlock new ability points for you to use. And you might have missed it in the gameplay reveal, but if we pause it, you see the variety of things we'll be able to upgrade. You have core, onryo, melee, revenge, and wolf. Since the game is all about player freedom and how you play the game, you can use your ability points depending on the way you play. And like I mentioned before, you can find this organically in the world, or you can buy a traveler's map to quicken up the process. You also have activities and concept, which I'm wondering what those are. Maybe one of you can comment below. I can imagine like you can call upon your wolf to maybe distract enemies, help you out. It's just going to add so much more variety. Maybe you can call upon certain NPCs and allies you meet in the game. That's definitely a possibility. I just hope the stop... We're going to come to that. Another amazing feature in the game is the camps. Atsu can set up camp, but she won't always be on her own. There are many different characters that can join you whilst you rest. First of all, you can rest up at these camps, but also eat some delicious food. And I'm assuming eating may grant you timed buffs before maybe a big battle. You can also play your instrument, your shaman, which I can imagine is going to sound so damn therapeutic. But not only that, you can have members of your wolf pack join you at your camp. And seeing this on screen, I absolutely love the art style to this. The wolf pack is essentially a way of managing your allies and vendors that you will meet throughout the game. And in this menu, it will tell you if your sensei has a new technique ready for you. Just like Rafi Sensei, one of the longest members of the channel. Every time he comes on live stream, we seem to have some technical issues.
Flippin' hell, Sensei.
Problem is, I don't know why my audio is not working on it. You'll be able to buy new materials, maybe weapons, upgrades and resources, but I love the way your allies will actually join you and offer up advice, and I love the way this will hopefully feel like the relationships with Atsu will deepen as you go through the game. Now, there was a little bit of customization in Ghost of Tsushima. You could change your colors, you had dyes, you could find different weapons and styles. I just wish there was more, but it looks like we're getting that. And it feels like there are 3 distinctive ways of customizing Atsu, but also her playstyle. And I'm loving what I'm seeing in this gameplay with the customization from different colored outfits, styles, but also charms that you'll be able to attach to your gear. For example, if you love being noble and to have honor, then you can attach a charm that will be easier to perform dodges, parries, and perfect parries. I think I will go for something like the bandana across. I did that in Assassin's Creed Shadows with Naoe. I nearly forgot her name. I don't really know at the minute. I'm going to see what they've got to offer. Moving on to other small details that you might have missed, they will have a full Japanese lip syncing and voice acting at launch, which is amazing. And I'm not sure what one I will go for. I do believe like the Japanese will sound so much better. Like with Ghost of Tsushima, I started on Japanese, but when I was walking through like places with NPCs, there was no subtitles for some of the NPCs talking in the background, and I wanted to know what they were saying, so I switched it to English. But the English voiceover was amazing. The acting was amazing, and I'm assuming the same. Unlike Shadows, I have to mention that was some of the worst freaking English voice acting ever. So I feel like I'll probably play this in English.
Resentment can grow quietly.
What else is really cool is that there will be potentially a reputation system for Atsu for enemies. As she progresses by taking down the big 6, her Unreal will grow. So I can imagine as you go to certain places like this inn or a sort of place to relax or have a drink, enemies will notice you, and maybe as you progress, harder enemies may spawn at certain locations. I don't suppose it's going to be like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That was quite detailed where loads of mercenaries would be after you, but something along those lines.
As she makes progress against the Yōtei 6, her legend as the Unreal grows. Bounty will go up, drawing the attention of deadlier foes.
Now, I love the fact that Sucker Punch are very passionate about the game and the culture and Japan. I love the way they give the love to the composer, Toma Uwa. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. I'm really sorry. Who has essentially blended Eastern instrumentation and Western flavors. And I can't imagine how good this is going to be. And they already have released a couple of tracks, which I'm probably going to listen to on the way to the gym. And to go a step further, there is also a Watanabe mode, which during exploration and combat, you can listen to lo-fi track directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, who's a renowned anime director. Now, moving over to the editions, because we got some special editions PS5s to this. There will be a standard edition of Ghost of Yōtei, which will be $69.99 or $69.99, but there'll also be a digital deluxe edition, and I assume there will be an upgrade path like they did with Death Stranding 2. I bought the physical and then you could upgrade to the digital, which I will do. That will be $79.99 or £79.99 in the UK, but you also get some cool armor sets, the snake armor, you get the digital deluxe armor die, digital deluxe horse and saddle, sword kit, charm, and traveler's maps early unlock. But also there's a collector's edition. Don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. $249.99 or £219.99 in the UK, which comes with a digital version of the game. I know, make that make sense, they're all doing it, I don't know why. But it also comes with the Ghost Mask, the Papercraft, the Zeni Haki coin game and pouch, the Suba, the Sash art cards, and also all of the digital deluxe editions. But what else is freaking cool, which I didn't see coming, they're going to be releasing special edition PS5s with black and gold plate and a DualSense with the black and gold. That for me, I think they look incredible. I also saw that they will be PS5 Pro plates. Finally, we get some released. I've got these really cool 30th anniversary edition ones because I was scared that they wouldn't do them, but these are the first plates we are getting on the PS5 Pro. They will also have the PS5 Slim, but as far as I know, they won't have the original base PS5. I know they got like the Spider-Man plates. It's just a bit weird that the old PS5, they've just not going to do them. You know, maybe something like AliExpress will have the original PS5. And listen, I won't be buying a whole PS5. I may buy the plates. I don't know. I'm definitely going to buy the DualSense because I just collect DualSenses dual senses, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But if you buy the console, it comes obviously with a digital version of the game, the pre-order content, including the game mask and a set of 7 PSN avatars. But for me, this is how you do a dual sense. Dual sense. I don't know why I keep saying that, because don't get me wrong, I love Death Stranding 2, but looking at the controller, it just looks like stickers that have been attached to a black DualSense, which is true. I just feel like this is how you do it because it just looks completely different. I'm not sure which one I'll get, the black or the gold, I don't know. So the gold one has been inspired by the Japanese art form known as kintsugi, which is a traditional process used to repair old ceramics with lacquer and gold. And the black design is inspired by sumi-e, another traditional Japanese art form involving black ink. So my final thoughts of this game, I was super impressed with what they've shown, but there's also a but, a big but. I am very concerned for the story and the character development of this character. I am. I won't lie to you. I feel like it's a bit weird that we haven't seen Atsu really speak. We haven't seen her in a proper cutscene. I don't know how she's going to be in comparison to like Jin Sakai. Would I have wanted Jin Sakai and a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima? 100%. You guys know from day dot when I heard this and saw it on the state of play, I wanted a sequel to Jin Sakai.
What? Yes! Let's go, let's go! Ghost of Tsushima 2! Surely! Am I a woman? Why am I not Jin... What? Am I Jin Sakai? Please say I'm Jin... Why am I not Jin Sakai?
Some people say it was inevitable his story was done. It was also inevitable they were going to do a sequel, and we assumed it would be with Jin Sakai. I got over that, totally fine. But with the era of gender swapping and awful writing in video games, films, I don't need to tell you twice. I was also looking online, and it's not the same writers of Ghost of Tsushima.
What? What the f?
These are the writers that worked on Dragon Age the Vilgard.
Oh, I'm non-binary.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody just calm down.
That's why I'm concerned. The writers of Ghost of Yōtei include John Dombrow and Courtney Woods, who, again, says online, previously worked on Dragon Age the Vilgard. And I'm not gonna lie, that makes me even nervous with the character of Atsu. And like I said, I could be wrong. I'm just voicing my opinion. Like I said, over the last few years, we've had female characters that are awful, that are the typical girl boss. Will Atsu be a character after I play it and be like, well, she was one of the best characters, her story arc was amazing? Possibly. But also, when you look at the actual actress who's playing her, and it says online that she's a well-known activist, that doesn't really give me some confidence. Why would you want someone working for you who's like that? This game has been in development for 4 to 5 years, and I'm talking 5 years ago, it was like the peak of bad writing.
I just move shit with my freaking mind!
So yes, I am concerned with the story and the character. And you go back to Jin Sakai, you saw the character development of that character, the pain, the experience he went through in order to save his people and his land. I find it weird that we haven't seen like a big cutscene with Atsu like communicating with NPCs or allies, nothing. So I don't know how this character is going to come across in the game. Just my thoughts. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I still will be buying day one. I do YouTube, you guys can find out. But some of you have made your concerns and you've said on my comments about, you know, I'm concerned about the writers of this. It doesn't paint a good picture, although it does look freaking good in terms of everything they've done with the open world, the gameplay mechanics. My concern is just the story. But what do you think about this video? What do you think about Ghost of Yōtei? I've been saying Yōtei for a while. I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video. The best PS5 games out in July and August. Shout out to Sari. Gosh, I'm so excited for Lost Soul Aside. And shout out to Jules, Eric Sholm, The Stolen Dream, Mafia the Old Country, and the RoboCop Unfinished Business and Lost Soul Aside, my top 3 list. And I have to say, there are so many games out July and August. I made a mistake on my last video. RoboCop is an expansion. You don't actually have to own the actual game, play this expansion, which is pretty cool. There are just so many games that I'm actually looking forward to. Currently still playing Death Stranding 2. Currently still got my chiral network and trying to connect people to the chiral network. Absolutely loving it. I don't think I'm even halfway through. We're gonna have to see about Ghost of Yōtei. If it was like to do with Jin Sakai, I would have bought that collector's edition. Even though I'm trying to sell stuff to try and get some money. Anyways, let's see what the comments are saying.